the beginning of the story, we're introduced to two staff members from a gaming company. I and his partner Sue. The two of them are heading into an old, abandoned, and supposedly haunted house. Sue starts teasing and scaring I by saying, "Do you know what happened in this house years ago?" He goes on to tell the story. This house has a history. A woman named Mason used to live here. It's said that she made clay dolls, and she was very famous for them. Even today, her dolls are displayed in museums. But one day, her husband killed her and then took his own life. His body was found, but Mason's body was never discovered. Sue continues, "People say her spirit still roams this place. And you know the craziest part, she used to make her dolls using soil from graves and write a talisman, a spell on them. Everyone believes she did this to control spirits, to become famous and rich. Just imagine if she was this dangerous while alive. What would she be like after death?" Hearing this, I gets really scared and tell Sue they should leave immediately. But Sue insists, saying, "We need to scan this house for our new game. The game is based on this family story. Let's just scan everything quickly and get out of here." So they begin scanning the entire house. There are a lot of clay dolls lying around. Ones that were made by Mason, and those get scanned too. At one point, Sue picks up one of the dolls and tries to scare I again, saying, "Look how good this doll is. Let's take it with us. The boss will be really happy." I reluctantly agrees. But the moment looks at the doll, there's a talisman. A strange spell written on its back. Suddenly, a shadow appears near I's ear and screams, "Put the doll down." Terrified, I drops the doll and it shatters into pieces. Sue gets annoyed and says, "What are you doing? Focus on the job." E tries to explain that he feels like someone else is in the house, but before he can say anything more, a cabinet suddenly falls on top of him. His hands start bleeding, and his blood slowly reaches the broken doll. Sue desperately tries to help his partner, but then something horrifying happens. I suddenly stands up, and he's no longer the same person. His eyes are bloodshot, and blood is dripping from his mouth. Seeing this, Sue is completely terrified. But before he can run away, a shadow grabs him and drags him toward a furnace. The same furnace where the clay dolls were once made. The shadow keeps pulling him closer. And then all that can be heard is Sue screaming in agony. Who was that shadow? What was about to happen? No one knows. The story then moves forward and introduces us to a loving couple, Chang and his wife Meihua. Chang loved his wife Meihua more than anything, and now she is about to become a mother. On one hand, Chang worked at a gaming company developing a new game. Remember that same game I and Sue went to Shin's house to scan for? We'll get back to that later. Meanwhile, Mia repaired things for a living. Tools, household items. Anything broken that came her way, she could fix it. But she had recently taken leave from work because she was pregnant. Chang tells his wife that he'll talk to his boss about taking time off so he can stay home and take care of her. He's genuinely happy, but the moment he reaches the office, everything changes. His boss tells him that Sue has gone missing. Sue was working on the same game, and his partner I has returned, but he's not in good condition either. On top of that, they have to present a demo of the game within a week. So now Chang has no choice but to take over the project. He tries to explain his situation, but his boss refuses to listen. Left with no option, Chang agrees. He goes to I collects all the scan data and equipment from Shin's house, but fails to notice just how bad AE's condition really is. Chang takes everything home and explains the situation to his wife. He tells her that if they finish this game, they'll earn a lot of money, and they'll be able to take proper care of their child. Meihua agrees, and the two of them are happy, completely unaware of what has just entered their home. The next day, Chang is at his office, working and researching Shin, trying to understand who she really was so he can make the game more realistic. After finishing work, he starts missing his wife. He messages her to come to the living room. When she arrives, she sees that Chang has installed a camera there and the live feed is connected to his phone. Now he can watch her 24/7 to make sure she's safe. Ma is happy. That night, as they sleep, Meihua suddenly feels like there's a presence in the room, something making faint noises again and again. She wakes up, but there's no one there. She assumes it's just her imagination. But when she looks at the camera, she notices it's moving on its own. What she doesn't see is the shadow standing right behind her. Thinking the camera is malfunctioning, she goes to get some water. But then she hears something chilling, a lullaby, a woman's voice softly singing. Fear starts creeping in, and before she can react, a spirit emerges from the stall and possesses her body. Poor Meihua can't even scream, and Chang has no idea what just happened inside his own house. The next morning, Chang wakes up and notices that his wife is already up. He assumes she just woke up early. She serves him food. It's extremely hot, and Chang struggles to eat it. but Meihua calmly eats without any reaction. Something feels off. Chang senses it but doesn't understand why. Little does he know what's coming next is something far worse than his darkest nightmare. The story moves forward. Chang goes to meet Hassan's sister so he can learn more about what Hassan was really like. Her sister is still devastated, mainly because Hassan's body has never been found. She tells Chang that maybe because of their game, her sister's case might finally reopen. Chang promises her that he'll do everything he can to make that happen. After learning everything from Leo, Chang finally prepares the stage for his game. Using virtual reality glasses, he starts playing it himself. He enters Hassan's house, and just like in every horror game, his goal is simple: survive and escape. Chang tries to find a way out, but again and again he feels like there's something there, a presence watching him. And then finally Hassan's spirit appears right in front of him. Terrified, Chang immediately rips off the headset. He then questions his team. Why did they use Hassan's real image in the game, when her sister clearly refused, but his staff insists that there is no image of Hassan in the game at all? This leaves Chang completely shaken. He checks the footage, but Hassan isn't there. Not only that, the footage itself is corrupted. Everyone assumes it's just a malfunction in the VR glasses, but they have no idea what's coming next. The story then shifts to Meihua. Meihua is clearly disturbed. Suddenly she feels like something is behind her. Before she can escape, an unseen shadow slams all the doors shut. Then, a voice whispers into her ear, "I need blood, I need blood." Meihua looks into the mirror and sees her reflection holding that same doll. But then, something horrifying happens. Her reflection starts cutting itself, and as it does, Meihua begins doing the exact same thing. Blood drips out and she uses it to mold the soil, repairing the broken parts of the doll. At that moment, Meihua is no longer the same. She's changed. She's no longer human. She's become something evil. Completely unaware of all this, Chang returns home that night. But Meihua isn't there. He assumes she's just exhausted and goes to his room, turning down the act. But as soon as he lowers the temperature, Meihua suddenly wakes up. Furious, she yells at him, "Don't turn on the act." Chang is shocked. His wife has never spoken to him like that before. He's deeply disturbed. The next day, he's still thinking about it at the office. His boss tries to calm him down, saying, "Everything will be fine. Just finish the game, take some time off, and spend time with your wife." Chang starts to believe that might be the right move, so he dives back into his work. While reviewing AI and Sue's footage, he suddenly notices something strange. Sue is handing that doll to I, but before Chang can take a closer look at the doll, the footage cuts off. Suddenly, I calls him and says, "I need to tell you something about the doll." But before I can say anything more to Chang, Meihua, who is at home and is now turned into something evil, overhears everything. She starts laughing. By now, we already understand her plan. She's not gonna let I live. Before I can finish what he was saying, he suddenly starts screaming in pain. Hearing his voice, Chang gets worried and rushes to his house. But by the time he gets there, everything has changed. I is screaming like someone is attacking him, and it turns out it's none other than Chang's own wife. Right in front of Chang, she brutally kills I. I dies in agony, and with his death, Chang's suspicion about the doll grows even stronger. When Chang returns home, he sees that his wife has repaired the broken piece of the doll. But before he can take a closer look, Meihua wakes up, starts banging the door violently, and snatches the doll from his hands. That's when Chang finally sees her terrifying transformation, and now he's certain Meihua is no longer normal. The next day, Chang goes to a shaman and shows him the talisman written on the doll. The shaman can't fully understand it, but he tells Chang about a man named Shang who knows a lot about these things. So Chang goes to Shang. Shang, who is an expert in talismans, takes one look at the doll, and even he gets scared. At first, he refuses to say anything, but Chang insists, explaining that his wife's life is in danger. Finally, Shang agrees. Shang studies the talisman and reveals something terrifying. This isn't an ordinary talisman. It's used to trap spirits. If written on an object, it can imprison an evil soul inside it. But then he asks, "How did this doll end up with you?" Chang tells him everything. Shang realizes something is seriously wrong with the doll and decides to go with Chang to his house. But before they can even examine the doll, Meihua reveals her true form and attacks Shang. Somehow Shang manages to control her and temporarily suppress the evil spirit inside her, but he warns them. This won't last long. Meihua is unconscious for now, but once she wakes up, she'll kill everyone. Shang examines the doll and discovers that the talisman is incomplete. Then where is the missing part? Chang explains that when he first brought the doll home, it was broken, and his wife fixed it. That's when Shang realizes the horrifying truth. The final part of the talisman was written on the broken piece, and when the doll was repaired, something went terribly wrong. So all the spirits were finally set free, and they took over Meihua's body. Shang tells Chang that they only have until tomorrow morning. If they fail to complete the doll before then, his wife will die. Now Shang and Chang must finish the doll at any cost. But before that, Shang needs to understand how Hassan originally created it. So they go to Hassan's sister Lu and explain everything to her. Lu agrees to help them. Shang uses his powers to blindfold Lu and sends her back to the past, to the exact day when Sin was digging up soil from a grave to make the doll. At that time, Sin was pregnant. But she was so obsessed with creating the doll that she kept working non-stop lifting heavy objects. And because of that, she suffered a miscarriage. The shock of losing her child broke Sin completely. That's when she made a terrifying decision. She would create the doll using her own blood. Instead of water, she mixed her blood with the soil and formed the doll. Xing realizes that by doing this, the mixture of blood and grave soil summoned evil spirits into the doll. The doll became possessed and eventually took control of Sin, forcing her to kill her own husband. But when Shin finally regained consciousness, she understood the horrifying truth. The doll had become cursed. To trap the evil spirits inside it, she wrote a talisman, a powerful spell on the back of the doll. Then she sealed herself inside a wall along with the doll and died there. Now it all makes sense why no one ever found Hassan's body, and why everyone believed her husband had killed her and then himself. But at the beginning, when Sue and EA entered that house, they accidentally broke the doll, releasing all the trapped spirits. Finally, Shang understands everything. He tells Chang that they now have two tasks. First, find the broken pieces of the doll so they can complete the talisman. And second, find Shin's body so they can trap the spirits inside it again, because the doll can no longer hold them. They take Meihua and head to Cyan's house. Chang tells Chang to search for Cyan's body while he uses his virtual glasses to locate the broken piece of the doll and copy the talisman written on it. They split up. While Shen searches for the body, Chang enters the house using his VAR glasses, trying to locate the missing piece. But again and again he senses a presence, a spirit. And not just any spirit, it's Shin. That's when he remembers the first time he entered this house using the VR glasses. Something felt very wrong. At that moment, Shin's spirit hands him a broken piece of the talisman, but he's terrified, because Sin's soul also wants those evil spirits to be sealed away forever. Finally, Chang gets the broken piece and rewrites the talisman. Meanwhile, on the other side, Shang finds Sin's body near the furnace, but neither of them realizes that the evil spirits have already awakened, and they're not going to give up that easily. Meihua suddenly gets up and walks away. Chang follows her into the house, searching for her. But now everything has changed. Meihua locks Shang inside the furnace, and then attacks Chang. Just before she can kill them both, Shang shouts and reminds Chang to use the talisman. It can calm the spirits, even if only for a short time. Chang does exactly that, and for a moment, Meihua becomes still. Shang manages to escape the furnace, and together they try to trap the spirits using Heen's skeleton. But the spirits have grown far more powerful after feeding on Meihua's blood. There's no way they can be contained inside the skeleton anymore. Now those spirits are about to kill Meihua. She screams in terror as Chang begs Shang to save his wife. But Shang tells him the harsh truth: there's no other way. The only option left is to trap the spirits inside Meihua's body. But how can Chang let his wife die? Then Chang does something no one could have ever imagined. He writes the talisman all over his own body. Instantly, the spirits leave Meihua and enter Chang instead. The spirits then try to control him, telling him to kill his wife and Shang. But Chang, who truly loves his wife, resists. He stops himself and tells Shang to seal the spirits. Shen does exactly that, and the spirits are finally trapped inside Chang's body. And in the process, Chang may have died. Watching her husband die, Meihua breaks down in tears. Shen takes her away from there. 9 months pass, and finally, Meihua gives birth to her and Chang's child. She's happy, but she still misses Chang deeply. Before he died, Chang stored his memories in a VR system, so Meihua could see him again. Now she rules those memories through a VR headset. Do you think the story ends here? No. The story shifts to Lu, who from the very beginning wanted to learn how her sister Shin created cursed dolls. And now Lu wants to make those same cursed dolls to become popular herself. And that's where the story ends. I feel like part 2 is definitely coming. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.